Hey guys, I am Chanel and I am with Singles in the City blog, and I'm also the co-host on Brunch with Besties podcast.
Hi, I'm Lakiesha Russell, and I'm a licensed professional counselor, but I host the podcast, the Evolving Chair podcast.
And we are here today because we are infatuated. I think that's the perfect word. Yes. Infatuated with the new show on OWN called Love Is.
If you have not been watching it, you need to really watch it. This is something that I feel like our generation needs and we miss because there's nothing on TV like this. And so just watching it, I think for us, it's just so refreshing. And so we decided to get together and do recaps and talk about how we felt after those episodes.
Yes. So we are so excited. I think we're going to go through, like Lakeisha just said, each episode and kind of give you the recap, but then give you our feelings for each episode as well. And I think that's important for you all to see because you all might be feeling the same way. So we can all chat together and just be so excited with this wonderful new show that's on TV.
Yes. Before we dive too far into it, I want to shout out this shirt.
Yes.
If the love doesn't feel like 90s R&B, I don't want it.
I don't.
And let me tell you, that playlist.
Oh,
like
the playlist.
So I was like, let me wear this because this is how I'm feeling.
Yes.
Like 90s R&B. It's refreshing and like insightful, and it's like it makes you believe like I can have that one day.
Absolutely. It was very positive in the 90s. It was more so about the love, the feeling behind it, that mushy butterfly type feeling. Whereas now, it's microwave, it's everybody quick and they want to bounce to the next person. But in the 90s, you wouldn't have none of that.
You won't. And now, just to kind of give you guys a little backstory, it is based off of the love story, somewhat, Tamara Brock Akil and Salim Akil, and those are both writers and producers.
Yes.
They've produced shows such as Girlfriends, The Game.
What else have they done? They've done Being Mary Jane.
Yes.
They've done a bunch of other things as well, but those are some that really knock out, and we were like, okay, we know this show about to be bombed based on those shows alone. So
and so it's just about their love story and how they began in the industry and just holding on to those dreams and while living and also looking for love.
Absolutely.
And so Yasir and Nuri are the two main characters. Nuri is the female, Yasir is the male. They have friends along the way that kind of help guide the storyline. It makes it a little more interesting.
I agree. And that was a nice addition to really get the friends point of view because they both have these really close friends. And that's true, when you're out here in the dating world, you have your homies and your girlfriends. It's like, okay, I don't know what you should do. So it was very personal for me because I'm like, that's totally something my friends would do. So,
And we could talk a little bit about the episode 1, the very first episode.
All right.
So I was already excited because, the commercials and Brown song playing in the background. I was like, Jim said, like, come on. I was so excited. And I really was like, that is how the 90s was. Like,
that feeling.
No social media. It was payphones, beepers.
All that.
But you really were invested in your dreams and your passions, and you didn't allow anybody to come and steer you away from that. Is what I got that feel.
Because there weren't as many like outside sources to kind of distract you from what you had going on. So like you just said, it wasn't social media, it wasn't cell phone big. So it was like you really had to focus on whatever you were focusing on. And I think the show did a really good job of capturing that aesthetic of it really makes you feel like you're being transported back to the 90s. Now, mind you, we both 31, so
yes, we are.
We do remember this time here. So it's really set like 97 is where they really start. And I remember 97 like it was yesterday. Like I do. Like I remember 97 pretty well.
What's the memory for you that?
So that's like 4th, 5th grade. So I just remember we lived in this apartment building. And I remember we had our stereo, so we would always be listening to the radio. I remember like hearing across the radio like the rapper Tupac was just killed, and like I remember like certain stuff about that, like about the 90s. I remember my sister used to work at a shoe store, so like Air Max, like the 95s, 97s, like they was like I would always like try to steal her shoes. Like the big t-shirts, the herringbones, like I remember all of that because I have an older sister, so that was totally her thing. So watching her like be a teenager and kind of growing up in the 90s, that this show like put me there, like the haircuts, the curls, just the chains. I was like, that was so my sister in the 90s. Like I remember all of that, like just being a little girl, like watching her. But I remember stuff, so it's like it feels good to see this show to be like, I remember that, or I remember, you know, you had to do that. So yeah, it was tight. Or like the very first like cordless phone, like you walk around your house.
Yes.
So, I remember all that stuff. So I'm like, this show did not lose on any like aesthetics to really make it feel like it was the 90s at all. So I love that off bat.
And for me, it's so funny because the 90s for me, so I grew up in the church. Church was all we knew. So we didn't listen to secular music. So it was like our gospel. So when I hear like old gospel from the 90s, like old BB and CC Winans, Hezekiah Walker, things like that, like I remember those times. So I didn't get hip to what we call secular music. So the R&B, the hip hop, until like I was like grown, honestly. Until I was like grown. And so for me, it when I think of the 90s, I think of us like going to church, me singing in the choir, you know, me seeing my parents just loving each other and doting on each other, and us traveling to Mississippi for those family vacations. So like those, it's funny because like the 90s for me was like those type of moments that we saw in my home. But still very like carefree and loving, and I feel like the show captures that as well. And just tapes, like I remember my sister would have a bunch of tapes. I would go get the tapes. Or like the voicemails, like every time the phone rung and like they would pick up, like they would have like a recorded like message, like I'm not home, like but hopefully I get back to you. I remember my sister doing that, like playing the music, and then she'd be like, "This Shonda, you know." Hey Shonda girl.
When I got my first cell phone, I was like, you trying to be like your sister. So it was, by the time I got my own cell phone, was like played out. Like, you don't leave your voicemails no more. So yes, I totally remember that, and I love every time that phone rings on that show and Nuri's voicemail picks up. I'm like, I remember that. Like that is so funny. So
that is so funny. And I think of a particular scene that I was really like intrigued by was when Yasir and Nuri first met. Because Sean is Yasir's best friend. And so he was like, hey man, you know, I want you to come down. What was the place called?
What is it? It's called Insomnia.
Yes, Insomnia, to meet this girl. And lo and behold, like, you know, Sean never went up to talk to Nuri. But he wanted Yasir to see her, see how beautiful she was and all of that good stuff. And, you know, Yasir actually went up to Nuri and just like started talking to her, getting to know her. And it's funny because her reaction when he was like, all right, well, you take care. It put me in the mindset, how often have we had that experience with a guy and we think he gonna ask for the numbers and he knows? And so her face was priceless because I was just like, I felt that before. Because I've literally been in that space and I'll be like, but wait, you don't want my number?
So I give it to you, like, you forget something. So I've totally been in that space as well. And it was just like, he was so smooth with it. And I know she was like, who sent you? Like, where did you come from? Like, all of my video, talking to me, making me laugh and happy, and then you just leave. So that was a good part. I think the part that really sticks out in my mind of the first episode is again the aesthetics of the show, like above everything else. I was just like, they got it right. Like, to her having on the turtleneck with her like boyfriend jeans, to the lady at her office who had the French roll. I was like, if they don't come on with the French roll.
And you know, Robert Townsend is he a producer?
He's a director.
And so so just like you said, the aesthetics of it having the 90s feel, because he does some banging jobs on the movies. He does, and usually his movies are set back in those time frames. So that just made me think, just the collaboration. Absolutely. Like, I knew it was gonna be dope.
Absolutely. And then to have Mr. 90s himself, Kadeem Hardison, on the show. Different World.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And if y'all know me, y'all know that Different World is my show. And I love that show. So to have him be a character in this show is just like, you can't get more 90s than this. Like, this is 90s right here. Yeah. So, I love it. I love that about the show.
Yes. Another scene, well, it was in that same scene at Insomnia, and Nuri was just talking about how her dream and her passion is to be a writer, and Yasir made the comment about dreams are for losers. And then I was just like, wow. Yeah. You know, but again, you're thinking of when people don't have, and maybe it's attributed to people like around you who support and believe in what you're doing. Right. And so when you may not have that, you may start to lose your passion or in the space that you're in, because you may not have all this money and it may not have worked and you've been out there for 5 years. Absolutely. But it's like holding on to that dream and knowing, you know, at the end of the day, if I work hard, I will get there.
Right. The dream will become a reality. Yeah. And that's what it's about. And it was funny because she had an answer to that. Like, she said something like, well, I guess I'm a loser or something. Like, she said something like that.
Yeah. And she asked him, like, well, if you were a loser, what would your dream be?
What would your dream be? Absolutely. And that part was very, like, this is it. Like, that was that woo-saw, like, wow type of moment where it's just like, okay. And then he admitted that he was a writer as well. Like, he wanted to direct and those things. So it's just seeing that dream that you have and really not being able to internalize it yourself, but some, like, a stranger, like, sees that in you, like, okay, well, what is it about you? Yeah. And that was a spark right there that started all of that. So that was perfect. So then you flash forward a year later. So now a year has passed. They haven't seen each other. Nuri and Yasir has not seen each other. But then they run into each other again. Yeah. They see each other again. So I'm thinking, like, what is gonna happen? Like, she gonna be like, bro, who are you? But he clearly had not forgotten this woman. Like, he remembered her name a whole year. Like, didn't ask for her number. Remember her name. Like, sometimes I don't remember people's name that I met, like, yesterday. So I, remember somebody's name after a whole year. So that was amazing, where I was just like, this is something right here. Like, these two have something really going on. So you see a year, Nuri is in a wonderful place. You can tell that her dreams are definitely becoming reality. She works towards them. She's this writer for this parody show. Yes. It reminds you of Martin. Yes.
And Martin with a V, not a T.
Marvin. But you can tell it's supposed to be Martin. So she's a writer, one of the very few female writers in the writer's room at this time. She's just bought a house. She's just living the LA dream. She's just out here, like, really being a strong, Black, powerful woman.
Yes, and one thing, even in that scene, as we start to see her career has developed, and like you said, she's buying a home and being really successful in her craft, is when she made the comment where she said that she want a brother to match her efforts and not come with baggage if he has kids. Yeah. And now when she said that, what did you think? Because I took some takeaways from that.
When she said that, I feel like that's a tool that many Black women use that doesn't necessarily serve us well. Because you're not always going to meet somebody who's on the same level as you. So it's more so about the spirit you. Like, are we equally yoked spiritually? Whether, this person might not be where I want them to be financially or something like that, or career-wise. But I think it really limits you when you have that mindset, especially in the dating world if you're a single Black woman. So that automatically knocks off more than half, especially if you're looking for a black man, that's half of the men are gone because, you know, the jail systems, and career-wise, a lot of black men are just like, well, I didn't want to go to college, I didn't want to do this, I took this road. So to really limit yourself, so when she said that, I was like, that's very familiar. You hear a lot of black women say things like that. And as a blogger and a person who promotes being single, like I never want to promote my singles to have that feeling of just limiting yourself. It's not, and I don't mean to not have standards. So let's be clear with that. But to really like say, nah, if he got a kid, it's a no, or if he, you know, is not on my same level career wise, it's a no, because you don't know what you could be missing out on. So. Yeah.
And then to add to that piece, when she made the comment, you know, she doesn't want anybody coming to the relationship with baggage, in essence talking about the kids, because she was like, I'm not coming with baggage. But then I was like, but if we back up, we all have some kind of baggage.
Listen, everybody.
Like you said, that spiritual piece. So when we are not happy with ourselves and what we have going on, when we haven't healed completely from other relationships, these are baggages that we're taking. Even if they're not physical in the sense of kids, we still have those baggage things. And so for us to keep in mind of that everybody comes with something, but I think it goes back to what are you willing to how I want to say tolerate, but how much can you handle?
Absolutely.
And what are you willing to handle?
Absolutely. In the name of love. And I think, and that was kind of the catch-22 with her, because like she's saying this, but then as the show progresses, what she's getting in Yasir was like totally not what she had verbally said she wanted. And that's how love works. Like love doesn't care when you have this whole list and this standards, but when God decides that this is the person that you are supposed to be with, none of that stuff matters. Like none of it. And you have to really like, you can either self-sabotage and mess it all up because you really stuck on this is what I want, not versus this is what God wants for me and I need to receive that. And I think a lot of single people, including me, so I'm like, you do this, I've been there, to really open up and really like not limit yourself with all these standards and list type of things.
And I think because even how the story is set, so the older them is sharing the story.
Oh yeah.
And so the older Nuri started off by saying, you know, Yasir was the light, allowed me to take off my mask and see the light in me so that others can see the light in me.
Yep.
And I was like, if that ain't deep.
That was very deep, very profound. Like, and I think she said that I didn't recognize the light in myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, child, like, to find somebody that sees something so profound in you that you don't even see in yourself, like, that's God. Like, that ain't nothing but God.
And it's beyond the material things, because what I took from it, right, is sometimes us as women, we can be like, well, I have this degree, I have this house, I have this car, I have this kind of money. But yet, if we push that aside, what is that real you, that inner you?
Exactly. Take those masks off, because those material things, those are tangible. Those can be gone tomorrow. And she says that a lot, like on the show, like, I'm gonna be fired, like I'm gonna be fired. So her job, you can tell, is not really as secure as she likes to believe. Like, she's in a good space, but she can be axed out at any moment. I mean, it's 97, it's 2 black women in the writer's room, and that's her and her best friend. So she could be out of a job at any point in time. And
even to that piece about just the limitedness of the women in writing. So again, it's like the 90s is still somewhat reflective of today.
Oh, sure.
Right? Not a lot of us are in the boardroom having those conversations at the table. So it you know, again, it's definitely like we've come a little way, but we still have some ways to go to get more of us at the table.
Absolutely. I do agree with that. So I'm glad that they showed that and was very reflective of that. And I think even Brock Akil, she speaks on that a lot too, just with her being a writer and, you know, how it does need to be more women at those tables. So she's very vocal about it. So I'm glad they were able to show that within the show as well.
Yeah, so after watching this first episode, what was your definition of love is what?
Wow, okay. So I'm going to say love is a dream. And I talked about that in my blog. because they talked a lot about dreams, and we
Yeah.
kind of started this with the idea of dreams. So love is a dream, and dreams are good. All those things you hope and wish for, like, don't lose sight of that. And those dreams, what dreams feel like to us, like how exciting they are, and this is my, like, I really want this to come to life. Like, that's what love feels like too. Like, you really want this to really come to life and just give you this warm and happy feeling. So I think for me, that first episode, that's what love is. Love is a dream.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that. For me, it was love is refreshing. Because it's almost like I think of when we're cooped up in the house and it's kind of stuffy, and we finally have that chance to go outside, and you know, it catches us by surprise, and yet it's just like, this is something I need. And so love is refreshing.
Yes.
to me.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And to hear you say that is funny, because watching this show was like, we loved it. We're gonna love it, like, all that. But I think this was such a show that we didn't really know we needed. With everything that comes on TV, and I don't watch a lot of TV. I try not to, because a lot of it is very negative. Just, you know, people cheating on each other's side, cheating, whatever it's called. It's just a lot going on where I'm just like, you know, I'm gonna watch whatever's on Netflix, like some old stuff, you know, keep my mind right. But this was definitely a show that I didn't necessarily know I needed, but I'm very thankful for it. Like, it's really awesome to see this true imperfect love.
Yes, love is imperfect.
Yes,
right.
Yes. So, every week I'm just like, come on, like, I kind of wish it was a Netflix series and you just watch all of them and binge watch it and be done. But I'm like, oh, I gotta wait a week. But that's very 90s, where you gotta wait until the next week.
Yes.
So, yes.
So clearly we loved it, and we hope you guys loved it too and are watching. And if you have questions or comments, please feel free to drop them below for us.
Please do.
And we definitely will connect with you.
Absolutely. And be sure to watch Love Is on OWN. It comes on every Tuesday at 10/9 Central.
Yes. And again, I'm Lakiesha.
I'm Chanel.
And we hope you guys stay with us on this ride and just connect with us about what love is.